Welcome back to Easy English Talk podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Easy English Talk podcast. It's wonderful to have you here with us today. Hey, Priya, how are you doing? How has your day been so far?
Hi, Ryan. I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking. My day has been quite peaceful, actually. I spent some time reading this morning, which always puts me in a good mood. How about you? How's everything going on your end?
That sounds lovely, Priya. My day has been busy, but good. I had a nice walk earlier, and now I'm really looking forward to our conversation today. So, to everyone listening or watching right now, I'm curious, where are you tuning in from? Are you listening while commuting, working, or maybe relaxing at home?
Yes, we'd love to know where you are and what you're doing right now. It's always wonderful to imagine our listeners from different parts of the world joining us. Please feel free to share in the comments below.
And also, we want to ask you something important. Is this podcast helping you improve your English? Are you finding value in these conversations for your personal growth? Your feedback means a lot to us, so please let us know your thoughts in the comments. We really appreciate hearing from you.
Absolutely. Your support and engagement help us create better content for you. We're here to make learning English easier and more enjoyable for everyone.
Today we are discussing why silence is your best weapon against disrespect. This is something many people struggle with, and I think our conversation today will give you some powerful insights that you can use in your daily life.
This is such an important topic, Ryan. When someone disrespects us, our first reaction is often to respond immediately, to defend ourselves or to say something back. But that's not always the smartest choice, is it?
Exactly, Priya. And I think many listeners chose this episode because they've been in situations where they felt disrespected and didn't know how to respond. Maybe they said something they regretted later, or maybe they stayed silent but felt weak about it.
That's such a common experience. People often feel confused about what the right response is. Should they speak up and risk making things worse, or should they stay quiet and feel like they're being walked over? It's a difficult position to be in.
And what makes this even harder is that society often tells us that silence means weakness. We're taught that we should always stand up for ourselves immediately. We're told that if we don't respond to disrespect, people will think we're easy targets.
Yes, and that belief creates so much pressure. People feel like they have to prove themselves in every situation. They feel like staying silent means they're losing some kind of battle or letting others win.
But here's the thing that many people don't understand. When someone disrespects you, they're actually looking for a reaction from you. They want to see you get upset, angry, or defensive. That reaction gives them power over your emotions.
That's absolutely true, Ryan. Disrespectful people often want to provoke you. They want to pull you down to their level. When you react emotionally, you're giving them exactly what they want. You're showing them that their words or actions have affected you deeply.
So the real problem here is not just about dealing with disrespect itself. The problem is that people don't realize how much power they're giving away when they respond emotionally. They think they're defending themselves, but they're actually losing control of the situation.
And another part of the problem is that people confuse silence with weakness. They don't understand that silence can actually be a choice, a strategy, and a sign of strength. They think not responding means they're afraid or that they have nothing to say.
Exactly. And this misunderstanding keeps people trapped in a cycle where they feel forced to respond to every little thing. They feel like they have to explain themselves, defend themselves, or prove their worth to people who don't even matter in their lives.
That's exhausting, isn't it? Imagine spending your energy on every person who says something rude or disrespectful. You would have no peace, no mental space for the things that actually matter. Your whole day would be spent reacting to negativity.
Yes, and that's exactly what happens to many people. They let disrespectful comments control their mood, their thoughts, and their energy. They go home and replay the conversation in their mind, thinking about what they should have said.
And the sad part is that the person who disrespected them has probably already forgotten about it. They've moved on with their day, while the person who was disrespected is still suffering inside.
So let's talk about why silence is actually the best weapon in these situations. When we say silence is a weapon, we don't mean using it to hurt others. We mean using it to protect yourself and maintain your peace.
I love that clarification, Ryan. Silence is not about being rude or cold. It's about choosing not to engage in negativity. It's about understanding that some battles are not worth fighting and some people are not worth your words.
When someone disrespects you and you stay silent, you're taking away their power. You're not giving them the emotional reaction they wanted. You're showing them that their words don't affect you, even if they do hurt a little inside.
And there's something very powerful about that, Ryan. When you don't react, the other person often feels confused. They expected you to get angry or upset, but instead you remained calm. That calmness is actually a form of strength that they didn't expect.
Absolutely. Silence forces the other person to sit with their own behavior. When you don't respond, they have nothing to fight against. They have to think about what they said and why you didn't react. Sometimes that silence makes them realize their own mistake.
Yes, and even if they don't realize their mistake, you've still won. You've kept your peace, your dignity, and your emotional energy. You didn't lower yourself to their level, and you didn't let them control how you feel.
Now, let's be clear about something important. Choosing silence doesn't mean you're weak or that you have nothing to say. It means you value your peace more than proving a point. It means you understand that not every comment deserves a response.
That's such an important distinction, Ryan. Some people might think that staying silent means you agree with the disrespect or that you can't defend yourself. But that's not true at all. You're simply choosing not to waste your energy on something meaningless.
Exactly. And here's another benefit of silence. When you stay quiet in the moment, you give yourself time to think clearly. You're not making decisions based on anger or hurt feelings. You're staying in control of yourself and the situation.
That's so true. When we respond immediately out of emotion, we often say things we don't mean or things we regret later. We might escalate the situation and make everything worse. Silence prevents that from happening.
So how can we actually use silence effectively? First, when someone disrespects you, take a deep breath. Don't rush to respond. Give yourself a moment to process what just happened and decide if this person and this situation deserve your words.
That's great advice. In that moment of breathing, you can ask yourself some questions. Does this person matter to me? Will responding change anything? Is this worth my emotional energy? Most of the time, the answer will be no.
And if you decide that silence is the best choice, simply stay calm, you can look at the person, stay composed, and then walk away or change the subject. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your silence.
That's right. Your silence is your choice, and it's a powerful one. Some people might try to provoke you further when you stay quiet. They might say things like, "What, you have nothing to say?" Or, "Are you scared to speak up?"
And even then, you can choose to stay silent. Those comments are just another attempt to get a reaction from you. If you respond to them, you're falling into their trap. The best thing you can do is continue staying calm and unbothered.
I think it's also important to remember that silence doesn't mean you're ignoring a problem forever. It just means you're not reacting in the heat of the moment. If the issue is serious and needs to be addressed, you can always do it later when you're calm and ready.
That's a great point, Priya. There's a difference between staying silent in the moment and never addressing important issues. If someone consistently disrespects you, especially in a relationship or workplace, you might need to have a calm conversation about it later.
Yes, but that conversation should happen on your terms, when you're ready and when you can speak from a place of clarity rather than emotion. That's completely different from reacting immediately when you're upset.
Now, let's talk about how silence protects your mental health. When you choose not to engage with disrespect, you're protecting your peace of mind. You're not letting negative people rent space in your head.
That's such a good way to put it, Ryan. Every time we replay a disrespectful comment in our mind or spend hours thinking about what we should have said, we're giving that person free space in our thoughts.
And that's your mental space, your mental energy. It should be used for things that make you happy, help you grow, or move you closer to your goals. It shouldn't be wasted on people who don't respect you.
Absolutely. When you practice silence, you're training your mind to let go of things that don't matter. You're teaching yourself that not everything requires your attention or your response. That's a very healthy mental habit to develop.
Another powerful aspect of silence is that it shows maturity. Mature people understand that they don't need to prove themselves to everyone. They know their worth and they don't need validation from people who disrespect them.
Yes, and that maturity is actually quite rare, Ryan. Many people, even adults, still feel the need to defend themselves against every criticism or disrespectful comment. They haven't learned that some opinions simply don't matter.
When you stay silent in the face of disrespect, you're showing that you're confident in who you are. You're showing that someone else's negative words don't shake your sense of self. That's real strength.
And people notice that strength, even if they don't say it out loud. When others see you staying calm and composed while someone tries to provoke you, they respect you more. They see your self-control and emotional intelligence.
That's true. And sometimes your silence speaks louder than any words you could say. It sends a clear message that you're not interested in playing childish games or engaging in unnecessary drama.
I think silence also helps us avoid creating bigger problems. When we respond to disrespect with more disrespect, we create conflict. That conflict can damage relationships, create stress at work, or even lead to serious arguments.
Exactly. Many problems in life could be avoided if people simply chose not to engage with negativity. One disrespectful comment doesn't have to turn into a huge fight if you choose not to fuel it with your reaction.
And think about your own energy, Ryan. Life is already full of challenges and responsibilities. Why add more stress by fighting battles that don't need to be fought? Silence helps you conserve your energy for things that truly matter.
That's such practical wisdom, Priya. We have limited energy each day. We should spend it on our goals, our loved ones, our personal growth. We shouldn't waste it on people who don't add value to our lives.
Now, I want to address something important. Some people might worry that if they stay silent, disrespectful people will continue their behavior. They think that silence encourages more disrespect.
That's a valid concern. But here's the thing. If someone is truly disrespectful, they will probably continue that behavior regardless of how you respond. Your words won't change them because they're not interested in change.
Exactly. You can't control other people's behavior. You can only control your response to it. And when you choose silence, you're taking control of the one thing you can actually control, which is yourself.
And if someone continues to disrespect you even after you've stayed silent, you have other options. You can remove yourself from the situation, distance yourself from that person, or set clear boundaries. But those are all calm, controlled actions, not emotional reactions.
That's right. Silence is often the first step in protecting yourself. It prevents immediate escalation and gives you time to decide what action, if any, you want to take next.
Let me give you an example to make this clearer. Imagine you're at work, and a colleague makes a rude comment about your work in front of others. Your first instinct might be to defend yourself immediately.
But if you respond with emotion, you might say something unprofessional. You might make the situation worse or create tension in the office. Instead, you could simply stay silent, stay calm, and continue with your work.
And later, if you feel the comment was truly inappropriate, you could have a private, calm conversation with that colleague. Or you could speak to a manager if necessary. But you handled it professionally because you didn't react in the moment.
That's a perfect example of how silence gives you options and control. If you had reacted immediately, you might have damaged your professional reputation or created unnecessary workplace drama.
Another example could be with family or friends. Sometimes people we love say things that hurt us, maybe without even realizing it. If we snap back immediately, we could damage the relationship.
But if we stay silent in that moment, we protect the relationship. We can think about whether the comment was intentional or just thoughtless. We can decide later if we want to address it calmly or simply let it go.
Silence gives us the space to make wise decisions instead of impulsive ones, and that's incredibly valuable in all areas of life, not just when dealing with disrespect.
I also think silence teaches us emotional discipline. Every time you choose not to react, you're strengthening your ability to control your emotions. You're becoming less reactive and more intentional in your responses.
That's true, Priya. Over time, this practice makes you a calmer, more peaceful person overall. You stop being triggered by small things. You develop thicker skin and a stronger sense of inner peace.
And that inner peace is worth so much more than winning an argument with someone who disrespected you. That peace affects your health, your happiness, your relationships, everything in your life.
Now, let's talk about self-respect. Some people think that staying silent means they don't respect themselves, but actually, the opposite is true. Choosing silence is an act of self-respect.
Absolutely. When you refuse to lower yourself to someone else's level, you're respecting yourself. When you choose peace over proving a point, you're showing that you value your well-being more than someone else's opinion.
Self-respect means knowing that you don't need to justify yourself to everyone. It means understanding that your worth isn't determined by how well you defend yourself in every situation.
Yes, and people with true self-respect are secure in who they are. They don't feel threatened by disrespectful comments because they know those comments say more about the other person than about them.
That's such an important understanding. When someone disrespects you, it's usually because of something going on inside them. Maybe they're insecure, jealous, angry, or unhappy. Their disrespect is their problem, not yours.
And you don't need to make their problem your problem by reacting to it. You can simply observe it, recognize it for what it is, and move on with your day.
I think another benefit of silence is that it helps you identify who truly matters in your life. When you stop reacting to everyone's negativity, you have more time and energy for the people who actually deserve it.
That's so true, Ryan. Life becomes simpler when you stop giving your attention to people who don't value you. You can focus on relationships that are meaningful, supportive, and positive.
And those positive relationships grow stronger because you're bringing your best self to them. You're not drained and stressed from dealing with negativity. You're peaceful, present, and emotionally available.
Silence also helps you maintain your dignity in difficult situations. There's something very dignified about staying calm when others are trying to provoke you. It shows strength of character.
Yes, and dignity is something you carry with you. It's not about what others think of you. It's about how you see yourself and how you conduct yourself, regardless of how others behave.
When you respond to disrespect with silence, you walk away with your dignity intact. You didn't stoop to their level. You didn't say things you regret. You handled yourself well, and that's something to be proud of.
Now, I want to acknowledge that staying silent can be difficult, especially at first. It goes against our natural instinct to defend ourselves. It requires practice and self-control.
That's very true. The first few times you try to stay silent when someone disrespects you, it might feel uncomfortable. You might feel like you're holding back something that needs to be said.
But each time you practice it, it gets a little easier. You start to notice the benefits. You feel more peaceful. You have fewer regrets. You spend less time thinking about negative people.
And over time, silence becomes your natural response to disrespect. You don't have to force yourself anymore. It becomes automatic because you've trained yourself to respond with wisdom instead of emotion.
That's the goal, really, to reach a point where you're so secure in yourself and so committed to your peace that disrespect simply doesn't shake you anymore.
It's like building a shield around your peace. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you make that shield stronger. Eventually, negative words just bounce off without affecting you.
And that's true freedom, Priya. Freedom from needing other people's approval. Freedom from being controlled by what others say or do. Freedom to live your life on your terms.
I think we should also mention that silence doesn't mean you become a doormat. You can still have strong boundaries. You can still remove toxic people from your life. You can still stand up for yourself when it truly matters.
Absolutely. Silence is about choosing your battles wisely. It's about understanding that not every disrespectful comment deserves a battle. But when something truly important is at stake, you can address it calmly and clearly.
The key is to respond from a place of calm strength, not emotional reaction. Whether you choose silence or you choose to speak, do it with intention and control.
And remember, silence is most powerful when it comes from confidence, not fear. If you're staying silent because you're too scared to speak, that's different. True silence is a choice made from strength.
That's an important distinction. Powerful silence says, I don't need to respond to this. Fearful silence says, I'm afraid to respond to this. The difference is in your mindset and your sense of self.
So as we bring this conversation to a close, let's think about what we can take away from this discussion. Silence, when used wisely, is one of the most powerful tools you have.
It protects your peace, preserves your energy, and maintains your dignity. It shows maturity, self-respect, and emotional intelligence. It gives you control over your reactions and your life.
When someone disrespects you, remember that you always have a choice. You can react emotionally and give them power, or you can stay silent and keep your power.
Choose to protect your peace. Choose to preserve your energy for things that matter. Choose to rise above negativity instead of engaging with it.
And know that your silence doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. It makes you strong. It makes you someone who values peace more than proving a point.
We hope today's conversation has given you a new perspective on how to handle disrespect. We hope you feel empowered to choose silence when it serves you.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We really appreciate you being here with us and taking the time to think about these important ideas.
If you found this helpful, please share it with someone who might need to hear this message. And don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you and learning about your experiences.
Before we go, we want to invite you to explore other episodes on our channel. We have many conversations about personal growth, communication, confidence, and building a better life.
Yes, each episode is designed to help you learn English while also improving yourself. There's so much valuable content waiting for you, so please take some time to listen to other episodes that interest you.
Thank you again for being part of our Easy English Talk podcast community. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care of yourself and remember to choose peace.
Until next time, stay strong, stay calm, and keep growing. Goodbye, everyone.